A little bit about who we are, what we did so far, and our plans for the coming year. Okay, so first of all, we are a Maltese game studio. We are entirely Maltese, made up of local talent. We were founded, we started off as a small partnership back in November 2011, and we now converted officially into a company in April 2014. We started going full-time, we went full-time into the game development business. And we are 6 individuals, and there are Gordon Kaleya, who most of you know, who is our lead game designer, Mark Asa, who is our art director, Fabrizio, who is our 3D artist and animator, but also does 2D illustrations for us. Nell, who is our illustrator as well, works in illustration. As you know, game development is very intense in graphics, so you can see that there are a lot more artists than there are programmers. In fact, there's just me, who is the programmer of the group. And there's also Thomas Kushkiri, who is our primary audio designer. He writes all our music and designs all our sound effects. He also is very proficient at drawing as well, so he also does some illustrations for us. What have we done so far? We started off, our first product was called We Love Tear Us Apart, and it was the first adaptation of a song directly into a game. There have been different games based, which used music as their primary game mechanic and so on, but ours was the very first time that somebody took a song and directly translated it into a game. In fact, we took a famous song by a British band, Joy Division, called Love Will Tear Us Apart, and in fact we turned it into this game, which we launched online for free as a browser-based game in May 2013. And you can have a look at it if you like to at www.willoftearusapart.com. It was entirely a browser game. We made it using Unity. And here we can see a small trailer for it. Basically, it's we made it as a very dark game. Why? Because the original song "Love Will Tear Us Apart" is a very dark song about relationships gone bad. So we tried to capture the emotions in the song. The song was made up of 3 stanzas, okay, and we tried to make a game with 3 levels, each unique, and each of them focused on one of the stanzas of the song. Here you can see a small gameplay video. This illustrates the first part of the game. I'm not going to say too much about it because the game is a very short game, and it's mostly about the experience of discovering what you have to do, okay, in it. So I'm not going to explain how it is actually played, but each of the 3 levels plays differently, with very little instructions given to the player. As I said, it was a very experimental game. It featured all our own music as well, which was inspired by the original soundtrack, but we did not want to use the actual soundtrack itself. This is the second stanza, which translates to the second level of the game. And in it, we did not want to provide an experience to the player which was enjoyable, which is unusual for games. what we wanted to do was to give the player the same feel of desperation that the song inspires. We have all our graphics were originally the original style was given by an artist at Caruana, and that was continued by Fabrizio and Nel. Because of some problems that arose during the development of the game, we had originally 2 different artists, but for different reasons they had to abandon the project, so we had to replace them practically halfway through. So this was our debut game. Basically here I am showing some screenshots. These are some screenshots of the 3 levels. What I also wanted to show was some concept art for it, because it might be interesting for the game developers of you to see the different stages of progression. Originally, when we started off with the game concept, we had a very, very different style in mind, although still a very dark style. But for example, these were the very first sketches of the first level that you saw over there. As you can see, it's completely different. It has absolutely nothing to do with the finished product. The first level, in fact, was the level which took us longest time to nail down, because it also prepared the entire setting for the game visually. So as you can see, here are a lot of sketches that we did just to try and nail the graphical style of it. These are all different concept sketches done by our various artists that we had working on the project. Until we finally found we started to approach something that we wanted to use. And in fact, ultimately, we settled on a final visual. Even the background, for example, was very different originally, and finally we ended up with the original images that you saw. I don't want to dwell too much on this, so I'm going to just tell you what happened next. Well, what happened next really exceeded our expectations. We knew that we were riding onto the fame of Joy Division with this game, so we knew that there were many people who would be interested in this. But basically, as soon as we launched it, in the first week we got over 50,000 hits to the site, which was awesome. Okay, we had 10,000 likes on the official Joy Division Facebook page, although we also stirred up quite a bit of controversy when people, when hardcore fans of the band saw that we were trying to make a game. Some of them protested. They said that it was a bad thing that we were doing, but most other people seemed quite happy and seemed to like the game. Mostly we got the feel that those who were opinionated against the game thought that it was something which was commercial and that we were charging money for. Whereas in fact it is free and there was no money involved in it. Twitter was ablaze with news about the game, and we even got most popular tweet during that week. And of course we had coverage from a lot of international press. Much to our surprise, we got covered a lot apart from game magazines, also from music magazines like Rolling Stones, for example, Taste, and a lot more. Well, we stopped counting when we reached the first 100, articles, but we were covered through magazines all over the world. We also were delighted to be nominated for several awards for this game. We were awarded for an interactive award for innovation at the Festival of Montreal in Canada, also at the South by Southwest Festival, and we were also nominated for a Webby Award. We did not win any of these awards. However, it does not really set us back, because some of the competitors were Stephen King, for example, BBC, Microsoft, and so on. So we were playing with the giants, really, just 5 people on a shoestring budget, basically. So we're very, very happy and excited about this. The most important thing for us was that it gave us some industry contacts to the music business. There was some record labels spoke to us, like Small Stone Recordings, Excel Recordings, and also the Universal Music Group. We started discussions with them, and they were interested they showed interest in us developing games for their artists. However, that is a very long process, and we are still in discussion. I cannot discuss and divulge much of that because, as you can imagine, right now it is still too early and quite confidential. But we are spending a lot of time trying to focus on this musical industry as well, given our contacts. That is only one side of our business. Basically, this came quite out of the blues. We wanted to make this game, well, mainly because it was an experiment from our side, and also to try and get our name out there. Ultimately, our aim for the business was not to make music games per se. What we wanted to do was really to make other games of genres that we would like to play. Not that we don't like to play music games, but we had other plans in mind at first, as I mentioned. So we are also working on some other projects in the meantime. One of them is a simple platformer. So far the working title for it is Run and Run, but hopefully we're going to change that. This is a very quirky side-scrolling runner where you play the part of an old gran chasing kids who are taunting her and have dirtied her laundry. And it's a very simple game. Well, it started off as a very simple game. It always got held back by other projects. We are always putting it on the shelf, but now we decided that we want to finish it and complete it soon. So we'll hopefully be publishing for mobile devices very soon now. Basically, we are playing on the fun factor. We are using, as you can see, Maltese inspired backdrop settings. It has a very cartoonish feel, and hopefully it will be a fun game to play. So far, we're quite satisfied with how it's going. Now, the other main project that we are going to start working on right now is called Post-Human, the digital game. And I say Post-Human, the digital game, because we are also working on, we have already been working for the past few months on the board game version of it. So we intend to develop a board game and also a digital game based on the same IP. Basically, Post-Human is a single-player turn-based survival game. Okay, it is set on a post-apocalyptic setting where humanity is trying to survive and is being hunted down by mutants. Okay, by genetically modified human beings who have superseded us and basically are hunting us down. The game will focus on a journey, the journey of the players as a party from a starting point to a safe haven, along which journey we will encounter several perils. This is the first concept for the world view. You will be traveling throughout a path that you will be discovering as you go along. It will be we are intending for it to be different experience every time that you play. You start off as a solitary character in the world, and then you might recruit party members to your party, and you will have a lot of team management to do. I will speak a little bit about that later. Throughout your journey, you will have several encounters, which are, of course, story segments that may require different kinds of inputs from the player. Some of them will involve choices, moral choices, for example, to be made, and others will simply be combat. You will always have the choice on which path to choose effectively, and these choices that you make will play, on the morale of your party effectively. What we are trying to focus on is to give a special and distinct visual style to the game. And we are trying to use a graphic novel-based, a panel-based approach to the game. So it will be similar, it will be presented similar to a graphic novel, as you can see from the visual side. For example, here we see a set of choices that the player can take during a particular encounter. Okay. Even the combat will have this sort of feel to it, where distance between you and the enemies will be will be represented by different panels. Now, what we aim to focus on mostly, as I mentioned, is the morale. We are going to focus a lot on character psychology, so that your decisions, the decisions of the player, actually have a bearing on how the rest of the party reacts to you, whether they want to follow you or not as a leader. All the actions will have a consequence. All choices that you make will have a consequence on how each member feels about journeying with you. Okay? Each member, in fact, will have a character profile with different psychological traits, which may vary also throughout the gameplay. So this in brief is a summary of our projects so far. Okay, so thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, cool.
Thank you. Cheers.